Hello, everyone. This is your one and only Waka Waka Doctor. Thank you very much for joining me and watching this live show. Well, you know how we do it here. We share valuable information and tips as to how you can move abroad to different countries all around the world. If you're just joining in for the first time, I want to say welcome. Thank you very much for joining in, tuning in. You can always follow, subscribe, share this video, let people know what we do here. For those who've always watched me and enjoy the content I provide, I want to say thank you very much. What I do is share tips as to how you can move abroad to different countries, whether it's through your career or through education. Of course, there are other ways to move abroad, even if you're looking for permanent residency routes. I have them on my channel. And so whether it's Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, Georgia, Sweden, Norway, Finland, United States, any of these countries, any country you want to move to, I probably have a video that describes it. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. I'm sure everyone can hear me clearly. Today, we're doing something very different again, giving you brand new information as to how you can apply for admission in the United Kingdom and, of course, visa as well. So if you want to apply for admission in the UK and you're looking for affordable universities, we're going to teach you how to do it step by step so that you can do it on your own. We'll also touch base on how you can apply for UK visas as well. And how I do it normally is to invite someone who has the experience with doing such things, so that it's not as if it's Waka Waka Doctor that's sharing this information. You're actually hearing it from an expert or someone who's got a lot of experience, okay? A lot of experience with these things, all right? So, I don't like to waste time. I like to go boom, 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 fast, 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 quick, quick, quick. So, I am going to send you an invite now to my guest. I'm going to send an invite to my guest here straight away. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm waiting for them. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you
How are
doing?
you?
I'm
You
well,
you
thank
you are
you.
at the train station, yeah?
No, well, I'm in like a mall, yeah. So I was just out and about, but I was like, I need to get my
Fan-
headphones, I need to get my setup ready, cause
Fantastic. I'm also somewhere different from my
from
usual location. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to be having this chat with you. Today we're sharing something very different,
Hmm.
something about how to get admissions in the UK, and we'll touch a bit, about how to get visas as well,
Yeah.
because those are the two most important things that people look out for. And UK is a very, top tier location. Everybody wants to go to the
Everyone's
UK.
aiming,
Um,
everyone's aiming for England.
aiming for England. Let them come and join us. We are waiting. Okay. So first things first, I would love you to just introduce yourself so that people know who they are, watching.
Cool. Well, hi everyone. Makawa Doctor, you know the love that we have for you already, so we don't need to go there. But yeah, my name is Toyin. I'm a director at Devavion Consulting, and what we do is basically help students to get into universities in the UK. So we help with admission, visa, working with dependents, and everything in between. So if you have study gaps, BSc, MSc, all of that. So we just really help you based on wherever you are right now and trying to help you wherever you want to be, wherever you want to get to in the UK specifically. So we have partner universities and colleges, etc., in the UK. And as you said, what we're going to be talking about today is just basically how to do that process step by step and how that process works.
Fantastic. For those of you watching, I've got a video that talks about how you can also get admission into Canada step by step. So if Canada is your point of, destination, you can watch that video. But today we're all focused on the United Kingdom, and of course, we know the United Kingdom. Pounds is more than any other currency. Well, most currencies in the world. So a lot of people want to come and,
Spend pounds.
spend pounds. Okay, so let's go to it. How do you get admission in the UK? What are the steps people need to take? What's the process? For Canada and several other countries, there's no portal. Some other countries have, designated portal for admission. What's the process like for the UK?
Sure. So generally in the UK, you don't really have that concept of like a general portal. You A lot of these relationships are just directly with the university. So if you're applying directly, you just go straight to university website. You look for a university that has your course, and when you find the course, obviously within your budget, and it's everything that you want in terms of location, all of that stuff. Then you start your application. So I'm going to be assuming that most people in our audience are applying for masters because they're trying to like apply for masters and continue with their career. So what they would typically do is just click on the website. There'll be a relatively long application form to fill, and they just put all their details step by step, put in all their details inside the application form. The documents that they would usually request for, obviously universities are different, and some universities ask for a little bit more, some ask for a little bit less, but typically those documents look like your undergraduate certificate, your CV in academic format, so slightly different from like the working formats in academic format, one academic transcript, and then one transcript from a corporate like workplace transcript, and then a personal statement. And generally, those are the things that are needed to complete that form and then send off.
So do you upload this on a website, the
The
university
university's
website?
website, yes. So you go on the
Okay.
university's website, you fill in the form. It would typically ask you for all of these 5 things, and then you just upload all of this information and then send it to the university website.
Okay. I need to ask you this. Two things that people always find daunting when they are applying for schools.
Yeah.
Number one, do they need their passports immediately? And do they need their transcripts immediately when they're on the website trying to apply?
Okay. So passports, sometimes they ask you for your passport bio page as well. Have the certificates. That might not be an issue, but usually later on down the line in the process, they would then ask you for the transcript. So in answer to the passport question, you may not be able to apply at all without your passport bio page. But then for the transcript question, you will be able to apply, but you may not be able to actually start the program without your transcript. So you apply, you actually get an offer, but then it will be a conditional offer, and one of the conditions will be when you get your transcript, just to validate to the information that's shared on the certificate.
Okay. So you can actually apply without your transcripts, you just to get a
Correct.
conditional offer. So
Yes, exactly.
just to get things clearly, you're saying go on the university of your choice, go to
Mm-hmm.
their website, go to
Yes.
their admissions section,
Yeah.
apply, click on the application form. It's
Yeah.
usually a very long form. Make sure you fill it correctly and adequately. Then
Yeah.
you did say that you need some documents,
Yeah.
international passports,
Yeah.
um,
Your
one
undergraduate
reference letter.
certificate. Yeah. So one academic reference, one reference from a workplace, then your CV and your undergraduate certificate, and then personal statement.
Okay. And some of these universities don't require IELTS, so that's not a
Correct.
requirement.
Yes. Yes.
What
Many
if they
universities
what
don't.
if they ask what if they ask for IELTS and we don't have IELTS?
So you bring out your boxing gloves. No. So generally, they will generally be comfortable with at least C6, C5 or C6, depending, and above in WIAC English. So if you can prove that you have C5 or C6 in WIAC English, so generally IELTS is really just about showing proof that you can speak English, right? And you can speak and understand and write English. So C5 and C6 in WIAC would generally suffice. The other thing is if your undergraduate degree, which will be if you're studying in Nigeria, right, was taken in an English, was delivered in English. So when they see that in terms of certificate, sometimes they might see it and give you admission, but still ask for IELTS. But to make that case about IELTS, you might need to write a separate letter or separate email to them saying, hey, I don't need, I think I don't need IELTS for these reasons. Number one, my degree was was delivered in an English speaking country, in an English speaking language. Number two, I got at least C5 or C6 in WIAC. And if you have those two conditions, typically they would waive your IELTS requirements if they even ask for it in the first place.
Fantastic. So, for those watching, WAEC is West African Examination Council for those who are from West Africa. So the
Yeah.
question is going to come from, what about people who are not Nigerians? What about people who have NECO instead of WAEC? What about people who are South Africans, Kenyans? What are they going to use to apply?
So the WIAC, I think some universities don't take NECO. They're usually pretty strict on WIAC, unfortunately. So that, I mean, like, you know, I think in general this other strong thing is if you're in South Africa, for example, your university degree is still delivered in English, so you can still make that case, right? So it's generally that those are two requirements. If you have one or the other, you don't necessarily have to have both. So if you either have WIAC or you have the evidence that your university degree was delivered in English, then you can usually just use that as basis for waiving your IELTS requirement.
Okay, fantastic. Two questions before we move on to the visa section of this discussion. What
Okay,
about those who've got HNDs? Can you talk about those who have HND and also talk about study gap? How do
sure.
we mitigate these issues?
Yeah. So people that have HND, there are actually some courses that take you directly for master's programs. There are some schools that take you directly for master's programs, and they also do it some for separate programs. So the only thing about somebody that has HND is you might spend a longer time in that stage of just sifting through schools, sifting through schools, sifting through schools, because some schools will, they're happy with it. Many schools will need you to do a top up program or do something to basically move your HND to a master's, sorry, a bachelor's degree before you can apply for the master's. But some schools will just take you directly, and the only difference is really some more time looking for for that handful of schools basically.
And those with study gap?
So those with study gap, I think it depends on usually what happens with those students is we'd like to find out what you were actually doing in that time. So there might be a way to actually represent it in a way that it doesn't seem that negative. For example, like people that if you're a mother and you took 2 years or 3 years to have your child and focus on your family, etc. Actually writing that in your personal statement is not something that's always a negative thing. Sometimes you can actually just represent that, hey, this is what I was doing. I had a child or whatever, and I just took some time to take care of the child or whatever. Or if there's any other reason, or if you were doing something temporarily. So sometimes people think that even what people categorize as study gap is not actually a study gap. You could have been maybe maybe you're an accountant and you were on a particular path and you took 2 or 3 years to do something else. Many people think that, oh, I was doing something else, so it's not on my straight accountancy path, but it's really just about the way you represent it to the admissions office that shows the way they will take it. The other thing is it might also help for you to take some certifications to still show that you are like actively either trying to improve yourself rather than I studied 15 years ago, I dumped my certificate and now I want to dust it off and pick it up. So it's really just about how you arrange yourself and tell your story to make sure that it makes sense for your next step, basically.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to the next section, which is equally important. I mean, after your admission, you want to get visa, and you are quite experienced with applying for visas and helping people get their visas after admission.
Yeah.
So I think the meat of this gist is, what are the requirements? What do people need to have? What documents do people need to have to successfully get the UK visa? How do
Okay.
they apply? And what is the proof of funds required for this process?
Okay. So, like you rightly said, a big part of the requirement is the proof of funds. And because of that, a big part of why you actually get rejected is because the issues with the proof of funds, either submitting the wrong documents and stuff like that. And because of that, universities have then introduced a CAS process. So it's probably worth talking about this CAS process because after you get your offer, you get your conditional offer, and then you have to fulfill some conditions to get the unconditional offer. And then to make that offer unconditional, there might be things like the transcript, for example, or they might ask for an interview. They might ask for, depending on the university or the course, they might ask for something else to make the offer unconditional. Then you have to get a CAS from the university. What the CAS is basically like a code, and it's basically the CAS stands for Confirmation of Acceptance of Studies. And the university is basically saying, here's your code. You can use this code to apply for visa. So quite often, the universities will actually ask for your proof of funds, even to get the CAS. So it's almost like they want to feel like by the time they've given you the CAS, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to get your visa. Almost guaranteed. I don't say that you don't get rejected, but it's almost guaranteed from the university's perspective that you've done everything that's right to get your visa. So you would need your CAS. You would need the proof of funds. Um, typically the amount is about 1,200. I don't have the exact amount, unfortunately, but it's about 1,200 per month for a period of 9 months that they need to know that you have in your account.
That's if you're
Um,
living inside London, yeah?
yes, so that number varies if you're inside or outside of London. Um, but then you have that amount times 9 months. You have that amount in your account. Obviously, if you're working with an agent, that agent will be able to confirm that amount to you. But that amount is it's also available online. I just don't have it to hand with me because that number varies as well. So you have that amount times 9 months in your account, and it's in there. And then you send in your fill in your visa form. You fill in your visa form on the gov.uk website. Yeah.
Okay. So the CAS is a pre is it's a prerequisite to getting the visa or applying for the visa.
Yes.
And you did mention proof of funds as well. What other documents do they need when you're going to submit your application to the UK embassy?
Okay, so you need to have a tuberculosis test. So they'll ask you for the tuberculosis test. Yeah, and I think that's basically it. The other thing that you'll have to pay for as part of the process is the health surcharge. So the health surcharge is basically your payments to be able to use the NHS when you come into the UK. NHS is the National Health Service for those that are not familiar with it. So the health surcharge is basically a fee that you pay. You're going to become a student, so you're basically saying, I'm going to be part of the UK community. I'm going to have access to NHS facilities. If I'm sick, I can go to the hospital and get treatment for free, etc. So that amount is like just a payment towards the NHS. And then your visa fee. So your tuberculosis test you have to do, you have to pay towards the health surcharge as part of your visa application process, and then you have to pay the visa fee as well.
Okay, for some countries, they would usually refuse people based on proof of home ties, proof of economic ties. Does that apply to the UK as well?
I don't think it's not as much of a big deal. The biggest reason for refusal is mostly this whole issue around proof of funds and just making it clear that you have the amount. The amount is in your account. It needs to be there for 28 days. So people usually either take it out before the 28 days, or they submit a wrong bank statement, or there's one story or the other. Even if obviously there's banks that give loans for these things, but even if you're working with a bank, you need to be working with a bank that understands what the requirement is. Some banks will just put the amount in your account, but if they can see that the amount is in your account for a specific purpose, they might reject. But if you're working with a bank that understands what the UK process is and the requirement is, then they'll know what to do to make the evidence foolproof, basically.
Fantastic. What's your success rate with admissions and visas at the moment? Where do you think it stands?
So that's an interesting question. So the last time I did a proper calculation, it was about 98%. However, I haven't looked at that number on like September admissions and stuff like that. So I shouldn't I don't want to quote it wrongly, but the last time I did the calculation it was actually 98%. I think
That's
because we focus specifically on the UK, we also have the opportunity to continue renewing and continue getting closer to the process. And also when we have some failures, deeply studying why did this not work out, what was the issue, and how can we make it better, basically.
Well, fantastic, guys. This has been Dave Abion, DAVE.ABION. You can find them on Instagram, DAVE.ABION. And what they do is help with UK admissions and the visa process as well. Remember that
One
we've been
little
talking about, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one little thing I wanted to add is also the booking of the appointment. So for anyone who's trying to go through this process, when they fill their visa form, they also have to book an appointment for biometrics, and the appointment is booked separately. The appointment is booked on the TLS website, which is a slightly different website. You'll see the information when you fill the visa form. You see the information, but just to let you know that those are two separate processes. You fill the visa form, and you also have to go on the TLS website to book your appointment.
Fantastic. So, guys, Dave Abion, DAVE.ABION is the website, the Instagram page. Remember, guys, they get loads and loads of DMs.
I
So
was about
just
to
be patient.
apologize. I can see,
Just
I
be
can see
patient.
people.
Just be
Please,
patient.
we will definitely get to every single DM, but we get tons. So please just
Yeah.
be
I
patient.
mean, this is Waka Waka Doctor. Uh, prophesying and spreading the good news. So you get loads and loads of messages. So guys, just be patient. They will respond to your DMs. But Dave Abion is quite experienced, almost 20 years doing this, getting admissions for people, helping to apply for visa as well. And you
Yep.
know, they've got loads and loads of success stories. The Instagram handle is dave.abion, DAVE.ABION. And be rest assured that they've got you. Just check them up, send them a DM. They would respond to you. Okay. For
Yeah.
those who are asking about other countries, what you need to do is check all my videos. I've done videos on several other countries. I've got 150 videos about different countries around the world, but today we're focusing on the United Kingdom. And you need to send a DM to dave.abion, DAVE.ABION. It's been a pleasure talking to you and chatting with you about moving to the UK, and I hope that a lot of people benefit from this. Thank you very much for coming in here and having a chat with us. Okay.